Hello, Stephen Hayes of Fruitwise Heritage Apples. We're just going to show you how to deal with pruning shoots, pruning leaders of last year's growth when necessary. To make life simpler, I've been round this tree with the saw and I've taken out the big, badly spaced lower branches. I've shown you that on other videos, so we won't go over that again. Please note this tree is a bit too close to the trees on either side of it. They were planted too close together initially. We could get rid of the one in the middle to give the ones on either side more space, but we decided not to. So I'm just going to show you how to deal with the current year's growth. If you look up into the tree, against the sky, you can see there's a large number of new growths, new strong pencil-like leaders of last year's wood. Now there are too many and they're too tall. Okay, so we need to take a lot of these out. So I'm just showing you where to make the cuts. Now it depends, the way to make a cut on each one depends on the overall balance of the tree. Remember, balance. Balance as in new growth of last year, fruit buds on last year's wood, and the fruit that was on previous year's wood. This is fruited quite nicely. I'm going to prune this back. Secateurs now, Julian. Just pruning this back to a nice angle there. Okay, right, now we're going through some of these. Okay, there's a fruit bud there. Just going to prune that back to a fruit bud. Okay, this is a nice long straight growth, but it's more than we want. Pruning that back to an outward facing growth bud. This one, prune that back to a fruit bud, left that fruit bud there. Do the same here. This one down here, if you see, this is just crossing, it's just a bit too much. So again, take that out. This one's at bad angle, going down, take that out. Leave that one clean alone. This one is just a bit too big, so I'm taking that completely out. Okay, leaving this one, we'll tip that back to an outward facing growth bud. Here, this is just a bit too long, this system, so I'm cutting that back into 2-year-old wood to a fruit bud. You're going to get the picture. Again, here it's a nice, very big, strong, upright growth, but it's too upright. I can't reach up here. I'm going to cut this back to a fruiting bud. So I've taken a lot of wood out there, but I'll get just as much fruit because I've cut up the new wood that won't be growing anything. This, again, that's a bit too long, going into the middle of the tree. Here, going into the middle of the tree, cut out to fruit bud. Here, I'm cutting this into last year's wood. I'm removing all of last year's wood and a bit of the previous year's wood, so we've got a nice little fruit spread with 2 nice blossom buds here, maybe 4 or 5 good apples in plenty of light and air. Remember, I repeat the same things: light, air, space. You want to stay on that side of the tree, Julia, and just watch me going through here. Again, back to fruit bud. This is just too tall. I'm cutting this down into last year's wood. I'll tidy it up later. This is this one's in the middle of the tree, don't really want that, so I'm taking that completely out. And I suppose the same thing is true. If you read the old books, and I would encourage you to read as many old books on pruning as you can, they all talk about growing an apple tree like a vase, or a goblet, like a wine glass, and at the centre of it is open. It may look a little unnatural at first, but that's the most efficient way to produce fruit. See what I'm doing here, I don't want fruit that's growing up too high. I can't reach it to thin it then. Can't reach it to spray it. Here with 2 branches are crossing. So when you've got 2 branches that are crossing, choose which one you like most and take the other one completely out. And you get the picture. This is not the way to prune every tree. Going back to the first tutorial, learn from your tree. The tree is the best teacher, and that's why it's a good thing to prune your own trees, not get someone else to do it. If you prune the tree year after year, if you're responsible for the care of the tree, then you get the feeling for how the tree will behave. I know how this tree responded to last year's pruning, which I did, and so I know what I'm doing. And your best teacher is the tree. And although I've taken a lot, you can see I've taken a lot of wood out of this tree, and there's quite a big space now in the centre of it. I've taken a lot of wood out, even more than you realise, because I sawed it out earlier. But I've only taken out about 15–20% of all the fruit buds that were on the tree, and the fruit buds which I have left will give better quality fruit because they'll be getting more sunlight. Okay? Thanks.